Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today we've got some news from Frontier on the future of Elite Dangerous, and some of it is good and some of it unfortunately is not so good. Now the news come in the form of a post from Zach Cantonacci, who is the Assistant Director of Marketing over at Frontier Developments, and he gave quite a bit of information. Now, I'm not going to read out the full post here. I know sometimes some people do like to do that, but I think I'll avoid that here. But I will link it below if you do want to go check the full thing. But essentially, what I'll do is summarize it here. Now, the news is broken down into three parts. The first part focuses on Chapter 4 of Beyond, which is coming in the fourth quarter of this year. The second part of the news focuses on the future, or the next chapter, or the next era of Elite Dangerous, depending on how you want to look at it. So basically, the next update coming after Beyond. And the third part of the news focuses on the premium content that was going to be released in 2018. Now, before I get into the meat of what the post is all about, I do just want to say that I was pretty impressed to see Frontier actually come out and talk about all these issues. We know for quite a while now Frontier have perhaps unfortunately gained a bit of a reputation for keeping some of this information behind closed doors. On the one hand, they've been quite good, or very good actually, this year with revealing new content. Actually, over the past 2 years, Frontier Expo was really good with the reveals of everything in Beyond, through Chapter 1 through to Chapter 4, and then there was all the announcements at LaveCon, which again were very good revelations. But, I really don't think it's unfair to say that Frontier have gained a little bit of a reputation where things are perhaps more difficult than they should be when it comes to communication with the community. An example of that would be the lack of awareness or the lack of knowledge that's out there currently about any premium content or what's happening with the lifetime pass. So, it's pretty good that Frontier have finally come out and started talking about this. It's a very good step, and hopefully it's something we see more of. So regardless of what's actually in the content of this update, or this post from Frontier rather, it is really good to see them talking with us. Now onto the update itself. So perhaps the thing that's going to hit home the most about this particular update is the changes to Chapter 4. Now Chapter 4 was originally going to contain carriers. These are the capital ships that were going to be made available to player groups or squadrons, but these now unfortunately are going to be delayed. They're not going to arrive with Chapter 4, which likely means they're not going to arrive this year, or maybe not, depending on what point Chapter 4 actually arrives this year, but they're not going to be in Chapter 4 at any rate. They may be coming further down the line, but there's no information yet as to when they will actually make it into the game now. Now the reason as to why they've been pulled, or the reason to why they've been delayed, is pretty vague, but it seems that some of the content in Chapter 4 has been reprioritised, and it's meant that the carriers have had to be pulled out and moved to a later point. So this is pretty big news, as I know a lot of people were very much looking forward to carriers. Now the other thing that's been pulled from Chapter 4 are the new updated ice planets. Unfortunately these are not going to make it in either, and they are coming at a later date as well. Now again, there's not too much in the way of specifics as to why the ice planets have been delayed outside of Chapter 4, but it does seem it may be connected to future content and future updates. Now keep in mind that Chapter 4 will still have a lot of content. There's still going to be squadrons, the massive exploration update, as well as all the content coming for mining improvements, and those are pretty big changes. It also seems that there's now going to be additional new content inside of Chapter 4 that hasn't been revealed yet. Whether or not this was coming anyway, or whether or not this has come in place of carriers or ice planets, I guess we'll never know. But either way, there's plenty of stuff that Frontier are going to be discussing at a future point in regards to Chapter 4, so hopefully that's not going to be too long away. But yes, there is a bit disappointing, or I'd say it's actually very disappointing to hear delays for carriers and ice planets, but hopefully it's going to be for the best. Now the other news is about the future expansions, the next update towards Elite Dangerous that's coming after Beyond. Now we still don't know what this is going to be, and Frontier have said that they're not ready to talk about what that's actually going to be yet. Many people of course are speculating that it would be atmospheric planets or maybe even space legs, but well, there's just no telling. But either way, Frontier have confirmed that they have now gone into full production for this particular update, and it has now exited pre-production. Now this is really good news in the sense that it confirms that there is a future towards Elite Dangerous. This will of course be a big update, and Frontier have confirmed it is going to be a paid update, something along the scales of Horizons. So yes, something rather large. But on the other hand, it is a little bit disappointing to realise that there's nothing coming immediately after Beyond. Frontier have said that this will be quite a way into the future. So yes, it is great to have confirmation that there is a future for the game, in case anyone had any doubts over that, although personally I didn't. But yes, it's also disappointing to hear that atmospheric planets, for example, aren't coming at the end of the year or early next year. It seems that they, or whatever else the update may be, are much further away. Regardless of your personal feelings about this though, whether it annoys you or frustrates you, or whether you think, yes, good news, there's future content, I think it's really good that Frontier are willing to be open about this and actually let everyone know what's going on. That's a big step, and something I hope we see more of in the future. On to the final piece of news then in this update, and that is the premium content that's been scheduled for 2018. Now this was mentioned last year in 2017. Frontier stated that there will be premium content that will be released during the course of the Beyond season of updates. Unfortunately, this has also been delayed. Now, there wasn't exactly any information on what this premium content was going to be. Some people suspected it was going to be a big paid update. Other people thought it was going to be something smaller. Turns out, judging by the update, that it was going to be something smaller, some smaller type of paid content released across the period of this year. But unfortunately, that's not going to be arriving just yet. Something perhaps that's going to be arriving in 2019. Now, the main reason for this, the main reason people were concerned about this, a lot of people who had the lifetime pass were actually interested in getting something for the pass that they'd actually purchased. So whilst the holders of lifetime passes are not going to get anything in 2018, Frontier have said they will release some unique content onto the store for them. Whether that's a paint job or something like that, I guess we'll have to see, but unfortunately it's not going to be anything too significant. That said, do keep in mind that the paid content that's coming for next year, the chapter of the game that's coming after Beyond, will of course be included in the lifetime pass. So if you have a lifetime pass, you won't have to pay anything for that particular bit of paid content. So there we have it then. Some news that isn't particularly ideal. It's probably pretty disappointing in some respects. Some other news that is very good. And, well, a nice new step from Frontier in communicating these types of things to us and letting us know precisely what's going on. As I said early on, we need to have more of this. Personally, I'm still looking forward to Chapter 4 very much. I do look forward to the exploration update, the mining update, and although I don't go into player groups, I know many people are going to be very excited to see squadrons. Now, I do want to end this video on one particular question, and I know it will get raised in the comments section, which is why I'll address it here, and that is the size of the development team on Elite Dangerous. Frontier have said, or Frontier actually said today in the update, that it's a 100-man team working on Elite, and I think people are quite right to ask just where the work is going for that 100-man team on the game when you look at the amount of updates that come out this year, perhaps compared to other games with sometimes smaller teams. So just where all those people work in? Well, it turns out they're not, of course, all content creators. They're not all content developers. In fact, they work on other areas of the game. Now, Frontier did answer this particular question today over on Reddit, and I'll link the post below. But the 100 content team, or the 100-person team, is based across various departments. So programming, art, animation, production, design, tools, engine, as well as a number of other technical departments. Also includes online services, as well as server teams and Q&A. So yes, whilst the development team is 100 people strong, they are not all working right on creating new content. They're working on other areas of the game as well. So there we have it. A bit of an update from Frontier. I look forward to hearing from you. Do let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments section. I'd love to know what you think about what's been said. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.